Elon Musk released a few interesting messages about Ilhan Omar right after her embarrassing live meltdown during CNN interview. And Musk brought statistics about some horrible things that have been done by illegal immigrants and exposed publicly lies from Ilhan Omar, according to Elon, and her lies are so obvious that it's getting ridiculous. And how could anyone believe her after this? So, let's explain everything. Recently, Elon sent some sharp messages to his followers on X. Ilhan Omar and Musk have been in an online fight for a while. Conflict escalated when President Trump moved to end temporary protected status for Somali immigrants in Minnesota. And in response, Ilhan Omar herself, an immigrant from Somalia, responded forcefully to the policy shift. She didn't just criticize Trump, she flatly branded him a dictator. Then on CNN, Jake Tapper asked Omar, "Why did fraud in Minnesota get so out of control?" She struggled to answer. She said, "I think what happened is that, when you have these kinds of new programs that are designed to help people, you're oftentimes relying on third parties to be able to facilitate. And I just think that a lot of the programs that were set up, they were set up so quickly that a lot of the guardrails did not get created." That long, halting reply looked like a meltdown to critics. It gave Elon Musk an opening, and he used it. Right after that, Elon posted about Ilhan Omar. He said, "Ilhan Omar wasn't even elected by Americans." Then he amplified a post from the account End Wokeness. The post showed a chart claiming that the lifetime contribution per immigrant by region. It listed places like North America, Scandinavia, Oceania, Japan, and the UK as having positive economic contributions, while other countries like Somalia, the Caribbean, the Middle East, Latin America, and Sub-Saharan Africa were labeled with negative fiscal contributions. The post's message had been quite direct. It laid out a series of lifetime dollar figures that supposedly reflected whether immigrants from different regions contributed or imposed costs. Those numbers, taken at face value, made it clear that Ilhan Omar's praise of Somalis was not as accurate or well supported as she had suggested. Elon's reaction fits squarely within the data-driven critique he has been making for months about immigration policy and political narratives built on sentiment rather than measurable outcomes. By pairing Omar's statement with a chart that framed Somalia as a net fiscal negative, he emphasized the gap between her rhetoric and the economic realities presented in the post. From his perspective, praising a community while ignoring its documented fiscal impact is not just misleading, but politically convenient. Elon's stance suggested that honesty about costs, contributions, and long-term sustainability should matter more than emotional appeals or identity-based messaging. Elon asked why leaders praise without proof. On his X account, he also posted, "The United States or another country, pick one." Many saw that as a hard line on loyalty and public service. Right after Omar's TV moment, he also reshared a message from Rep. Eli Crane. That post said Democrats unleashed a border crisis, then covered it up. Elon added no words, but by sharing it, he then signaled that he agreed with the border criticism. Timing matters on social media, and he uses it like a spotlight. Musk's next step was even more blunt. He wrote, "The far left imported voters to gain power, and it worked." He posted that above a viral meme that claimed Omar was elected by 80,000 Somalis that Obama dropped in Minnesota. And the post got some huge engagement. He also reacted to Ron DeSantis, who alleged that some states give driver's licenses to undocumented immigrants to register them to vote. Elon replied with a bold 100. He then reposted academic Gad Saad, who used a shocking analogy about open borders and public safety. He also elevated a thread that pointed to Somalia's long record on corruption rankings, noting it with the help of @Grok, his AI. He was building a larger frame: borders, corruption, and the cost of bad policy. Now let's connect Omar's CNN stumble to the Minnesota fraud cases. Federal prosecutors charged dozens of people with felonies for stealing hundreds of millions of dollars from a government program meant to keep children fed during the COVID-19 pandemic. In Minnesota, they called it the largest case of its kind. Officials said it was the largest pandemic fraud in the United States. The number that most people use is about 250 million. The case centers on a nonprofit called Feeding Our Future. Prosecutors say many sites claim to serve thousands of meals that they never actually served. Investigators say the fraud did not start in 2020. Minnesota state officials spotted early signs in July 2019, but they faced heavy pressure to stop asking questions. In an email, Feeding Our Future warned that if the state did not approve new sites, a lawsuit would accuse them of racism and it would be sprawled across the news. A nonpartisan audit later said the threat of litigation and of negative press affected how state officials use their regulatory power. When fear of headlines changes oversight, bad actors can win. As the charges rolled in, a pattern showed up in court papers. Many entities were created or run by Somali or Somali American individuals. Prosecutors did not say ethnicity caused anything, they just focused on paperwork, money routes, and fake claims. Musk's point was different. He said leaders should confront what the evidence flags. He argued that praising groups without proof ignores the facts in front of us. This is why the End Wokeness post got so much attention. People read data when they feel leaders are avoiding it. To understand how he reached this moment, though, let's rewind to 2023. That is when Musk shared this clip where subtitles said things like, "If ICE tries to question you, you do not have to answer their questions, and you do not have to share your name, immigration status, or how you entered the country." Now that language exploded online. Critics said the clip encouraged illegal behavior. Supporters called it basic know your rights information, which lawyers and civil society groups share all the time. Omar's office and several newsrooms said the video had been altered and framed to mislead. Musk's accusation was direct and emotional. He said that Omar was breaking the law, literally outright. He called her a major grifter who hates America. He pushed the idea that this was part of a pattern by progressive politicians. He framed the clip as manipulation of facts and said it showed she was out of touch. Now, these are some pretty strong words. They are also easy for people to repeat, which is why they spread so fast. In 2024, Elon Musk publicly went after Ilhan Omar on X after a subtitled clip of her speaking Somali to constituents went viral. Some accounts claim the clip proved Omar said she was Somali first and American second. Republicans such as Marjorie Taylor Greene moved to censor her, and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis even called for her to be denaturalized and deported. Musk jumped into that pile-on more than once, posting under the viral clip, "The United States or another country, pick one," and then following up with a separate post about Somali communities in America saying, "Doesn't look like they're assimilating to American culture." In doing so, he framed Omar, and by extension Somali immigrants, as fundamentally suspect and insufficiently loyal to the United States. Musk's broader criticism of Omar in that 2024 episode rested on two core accusations. First, that she was divided in her allegiance, and second, that the Somali community she represents was failing to assimilate. And now in 2025, Omar criticized the end of temporary protected status for Somalis again. TPS is a legal protection from deportation. She shared stories from her childhood and said ending it was cruel. Elon answered that not every policy you dislike is a democracy crisis. He said lawmakers should write clear immigration laws instead of running on permanent emergency settings. He pointed to border policy, to the fraud cases, and to the cost that taxpayers carry when oversight fails. More political fires followed. Elon reposted a line about imported voters and Omar's election. Elon's defenders said that he is exposing bias. The lesson here is the same as always. Check before you share. Do not build arguments on claims that fall apart. So where does that leave us today? We have Musk saying that Omar's actions are a crime. We have Omar and many legal groups saying that it is legal to share Know Your Rights information. We have social media clips that are manipulated, miscaptioned, or taken out of context. And we have a country that is still arguing over borders, voting, and trust in the system. The facts matter here. The words we use matter even more. But this situation does not end here. Musk revealed a lot of shocking things about what Omar that people may not know and she is trying to hide. And that video is on this screen.